Hello there, we are discussing the new Metallica album 72 Seasons. Okay, so obviously Metallica's new album 72 Seasons came out today. The band needs no introduction, but the album title might need some explaining for those who haven't been following metal news. Basically, 72 seasons equals 18 years, so the band is trying to conceptualize that moment when a person becomes a legal adult and starts to figure out for themselves what kind of person they want to be, for better or worse. Getting that out of the way, let's talk about the songs. The production on this album is great. They've really been progressing upward in the production world since Saint Anger, when getting into Death Magnetic, Hardwired, and now this latest album. James's vocals are so awesome. He has a youthful range combined with an aged grit. For a man hovering around 60 years of age, his voice is still making huge strides. The last few nights the band has been on Jimmy Kimmel. I pulled up those live performances on YouTube and can confirm that these vocal peaks James is reaching on the record are not studio magic. He's hitting those notes live just fine. Kirk's guitar solos are way beyond the stuff he's been putting out for the band lately. In the press, Kirk has been pretty transparent about the improvisation on a lot of these licks, but for the most part, these solos fit the rhythm guitar just fine and tell a well-rounded story, complete with build-ups, climaxes, and finales. A few solos here and there, depending on the song you're listening to, sound like jumbled wah pedal-infused noise to me, but at the same time, many of the solos, particularly in the title track and album opener, 72 Seasons, are vintage Metallica, and could easily fit on albums like Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets. Rob's bass tone on this record is striking, and they really let him shine on this album, both on bass and vocally. His vocal blend with James on the song You Must Burn is killer. However, Rob's true time to shine takes place during the album's 11-minute closer, Inamorata, I probably botched that name, where he fills a lot of space solo during a long epic build-up. Rob also got writing credits on the songs Screaming Suicide and Sleepwalk My Life Away. Not bad for a guy who's been in the band for 20 years now. It's nice to see his name all over these liner notes for a change. Lars, once again, in typical Lars fashion, isn't doing anything insane as far as metal drumming goes, but his choices are always perfectly tailored to the song or riff at hand. He's a great in-the-pocket drummer and probably the perfect drummer for Metallica. His dynamics with James's riffs in awkward, jolting transitions song to song are one of Metallica's signatures, and it's hard to argue with the biggest metal band ever. If it's one thing James and Lars are good at, it's structuring songs that stand the test of time and stay lodged in your brain for years. Now going track by track, 72 Seasons, a title track, opens the album so strong. The intro is a nice long but fast thrashy burn with really cool contrast and drum guitar fake-outs. Once again, this song has, in my opinion, the best guitar solo on the record. These riffs are still stuck in my head more than any of the other songs, and I've taken in the entire album multiple times. Shadows Follow is so good. Musically, it would fit right in on And Justice for All, especially with a younger 20-something James singing. But with those groovy riffs that come and go combined with James's aged voice, the song has a lot of Load vibes as well in contrast. Screaming Suicide is another infectious banger. I don't really care for the leads on this song. I find them to be a bit lackluster and too dependent on the wah pedal, but part for part, the song is extremely catchy and a real headbanger. Sleepwalk My Life Away is another catchy tune with a ripper of a solo. Most of the song is comprised of mid-paced heavy grooves that provide real fan service for fans of the Black Album and Load. You Must Burn is what I jokingly call the sad but true of 72 Seasons. It's super heavy and chunky. The verse riff is very similar to that of Sad But True's, and the two songs just have really similar vibes. Black Album fans should be rejoicing over this one. Lux Eterna, otherwise known as Eternal Light, is one everyone should know by now. It was the first single released for 72 Seasons. It's a short, to-the-point ripper with a crazy catchy main riff, cool drum and guitar dynamics, awesome vocal melodies, kind of a crammed-in, lackluster solo, but it fits the song since it's supposed to be a quick, new wave of British heavy metal banger with thrash influence. Crown of Barbed Wire is probably the simplest song to play on guitar on the album. It's just heavy, chunky, and with a motif comprised of sludgy power chords sliding up and down the neck. I actually really want to do a death metal version of this song, and I probably will. Chasing Light is a weird one because it has a great main riff. It almost reminds me of a really thrashy melodic death metal band in this regard, but the rest of the song just falls flat to me. It's just a little too rock and not enough metal, I guess. It might be the most typical sounding on the album in terms of Metallica's rock and roll side. If Darkness Had a Sun has some really cool riffs, even though they're primarily simple by design. I really like the vocal melody in the chorus of this one. This was another one I was humming for days after hearing it for the first time. There's nothing ultra special about it, but it's another heavy banger with a really catchy chorus. It's a real earworm. Too Far Gone is another great song for contrast. It has really cool thrash riffs, which surround a very straightforward rock and roll style chorus with a brilliant vocal melody. It's another song that really blends every era of Metallica in a single composition. Imagine the entire discography chopped up into pieces and then combined like mixing Lego kits. Great guitar harmonies in the bridge. Room of Mirrors is another super weird song with a juxtaposition worth mentioning. The front half of this song falls flat for me and is just too typical rock and roll for my taste. It has this simplistic two-step upbeat section that just doesn't do it for me, but then the entire second half of the song rips with beautiful harmonized guitar melodies that scream Iron Maiden or even Horacle era In Flames. It has an awesome guitar solo and just tons of multifaceted metal goodness. This brings me to the album Closer in a Morata. Sorry, I'm butchering it. Like I was saying before, it's 11 minutes of everyone in the band shining equally as bright. The main riff has serious Black Sabbath vibes, as they were the pioneers of the doom or stoner metal sound, arguably. The long instrumental build-up almost makes me think Tool before it goes into more epic guitar harmonies and soloing. It's so good. Can't even put it into words. It's another song that crams together every era of Metallica, but it's structured so well and doesn't sound forced. Again, it's also 11 minutes long, so it has time to flesh out each idea to avoid abrupt, disjointed transitions and things of that nature. So what did you think of 72 Seasons? Let me know in the comments. Give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.